Legendary Godzilla, the main monster of the Monsterverse. Wait, that doesn't make it. And Twilight Sparkle, the Princess of Friendship. Both have essentially been given royal titles thanks to insane amounts of willpower. But when they are put claw to horn, who will be the strongest king? Or princess? Hi, it's my job to analyze these two characters' strengths, weaknesses, and abilities to find out who would win a sprite fight. The universe can be a very scary place, and can be more dangerous than we might dare to wonder. Whether it be in the outer reaches of space, or underneath our very feet, all we can do is ponder the possibilities. And one of the things that keeps us up at night pondering is if monsters are real. But we aren't talking about classic mummies or werewolves or even Dracula. Today, we are talking about kaiju. And what better kaiju to talk about than the king of monsters himself, Godzilla. No, not you. But not the original Toho Godzilla, the Heisei series, Millennium series, you get the idea. Today, we are talking about the very king of the monsters himself, the Alpha Kaiju, legendary Godzilla. In 1954, he was nuked in an attempt to kill him. However, it didn't kill him, it just made him stronger. While yes, he did absorb the radiation, he would still have to survive the force of the Castle Bravo, which would have a yield of around 15 megatons of TNT, or 16.5 mega US tons. Given the fact that, humans just tried to murder him, Godzilla grew pretty pissed off at just about anything. With all the radiation, he gained and acquired multiple different techniques. Like, the nuclear pulse which literally launched the 134,000-ton Muto Prime into the air. Assuming the time and distance that she travelled into the air, Muto Prime had to be moving about 281 miles per hour. With her weight of 134,000 tons, this would take over 18 tons of TNT. He's even tanking nuclear bombs, and most nukes today reach 1.2 megatons of TNT. But none of these feats are nearly as impressive as his signature weapon. You know it, you love it, the atomic breath. A powerful blast which can cut through entire skyscrapers, or even decapitate the female Muto with his iconic kiss of death. But when a fight cannot be solved with supernatural attacks, he gets in and uses his physical weapons. He can use tail whips, its bite force, or even slap you with his claws. He's dragged the 60,000-ton Muto into this kiss of death, and has thrown and smacked the 45,000-ton male Muto around. After killing both of the Mutos, he moved on and fought many different other kaiju, like King Kong, which he threw multiple city blocks away with enough force to dislocate the ape's shoulder. But by far the most powerful opponent he's ever faced was King Ghidorah, who casually made multiple powerful storms which would take 62 trillion tons of TNT. That is enough power to destroy an entire country, and over half the amount of energy the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs outputted. We can definitely scale base film Godzilla to this. And King Ghidorah can cause that just by flapping his wings. And Godzilla was powerful enough to obliterate King Ghidorah's wings with one blast. He did this by accessing a short-lived superform known as Burning Godzilla. By using multipliers to Burning Godzilla's true power, we can assume he can output 12.5 petatons of TNT. This is a pretty generous estimate, but I consider it fair. That is enough power to wipe out an entire continent. He got this superform by absorbing Mothra's energy, who was so powerful she could part the clouds, which would take over 420 megatons of TNT. During the Boston battle, he ran up to a speed of 200 miles per hour. A tail whip of his goes about 89 miles per hour and he swims at about 60 knots. One time, he sensed Kong underneath the earth, so he, get this, drilled through half of the earth to get to him, an explosion worth about country level in terms of destructive capability. He's even taken meteorite attacks. With all of these abilities in mind, he saved the world twice. However, despite his rough nature, he has some upsides. He stopped the war between Godzilla and Kongs, created an alliance with humanity, and like I said, saved the world twice. And has even found a brand new home to settle down. But now it's time for weaknesses. He's pretty sluggish and he's been put on the ropes by worthy foes. If the foes are a lot quicker than him, he can easily struggle. Even with his flaws, Godzilla is still an incredibly powerful monster. No man or machine can possibly keep up with Godzilla. Oh boy, I'm really covering this franchise, aren't I? Welcome to Equestria, the magical land of ponies. As I literally just mentioned, the whole country is overseen by ponies, who all together live in harmony. The 3 species of pony include Pegasi, Earth ponies, and unicorns. Keep it together, Jason. Keep it together. The country is ruled by 2 princesses, Princess Celestia and Luna. Oh, and also Cadence, but no one cares about Cadence anymore. Princess Celestia and Princess Luna kept order in the country. Princess Celestia would be the one who raised the sun so people can wake up, and Luna, the younger one, raised the moon. Both sisters maintained balance and harmony across the entire country until one fateful day. Luna looked back on the country. She realized something that drove her completely mad. The ponies would relish in playing her older sister's day, yet would sleep and shun themselves in her beautiful night. One horrific night, she refused to lower the moon. Then one thing led to another, and Luna went completely and utterly insane, transforming into a brand new form no one had ever experienced her doing before. She turned into Nightmare Moon. But with a heavy heart, Celestia used the Elms of Harmony, magical artifacts of unbelievable amounts of magic, and banished Luna to the moon. Tears filled up Celestia's eyes as she knew that there was no other choice. From then on, Celestia maintained the sun and the moon on her own, without her sister. Celestia then trained other ponies at magic. One of her most faithful students, though, was Twilight Sparkle. Despite having multiple friends, Twilight Sparkle usually shunned herself from them, mainly focusing on studying and reading. And I mean reading. Like, a lot of reading. I'm actually genuinely concerned for her. Due to Twilight's vast magical experience, she's gained multiple abilities, like being able to levitate small objects, teleport large distances, and shoot beams from her horn. One day, she was sent to Ponyville to see if every single preparation for the summer sunset celebration was all in order. While she was there, she met 5 ponies. These ponies were Fluttershy, Rarity, Applejack, Rainbow Dash, and Pinkie Pie. After bonding, they all worked together to defeat Nightmare Moon after she had returned. And so, her new goal was set. She would dedicate her life to learning about the ways of friendship and spreading it across the world. Oh god, finally now we can get to the bloody feats. Twilight pulled out every hour of the night in order to learn magic. That means she has almost 2 decades of magic experience. With her magic, she was strong enough to lift up the 350-ton Ursa Minor. Oh yeah, and that Nightmare Moon girl can literally move the moon. Twilight even has the ability to turn one thing into another, like turning her parents into plants, birds into oranges, etc, etc. With her brand new friends, she's defeated multiple enemies, including Discord, King Sombra, and Queen Chrysalis. After everything she had accomplished and even creating brand new magic, she was given the best gift she had ever received: the power of an alicorn. With this new form, she was granted the ability of flight and the title of Princess Twilight Sparkle. Her power increased exponentially when she gained the alicorn form. Other alicorns have shown to possess the ability to move the moon, which for those of you who don't know would need 100 octillion joules, and even the sun, which weighs 2 octillion tons. She can fly at roughly 300 miles per hour. She also seems to possess the ability to defend and cast magical spells at the same time. Oh, and she got cast at one time on a bunch of really crazy shenanigans, and yeah, I'm done on it. But even when her story came to a close, she was forever titled as the Princess of Friendship. Even when her friends grew older, they were still together. So, at the end of the day, Twilight inspired her friends, she inspired Equestria, and dare I say, she inspired herself.
I studied that spell for years! How can you? I studied magic for years too, but what I didn't know then was that studying could only take me so far. Each of my friends has taught me something different about myself. It was their unique gifts and passions and personalities that helped bring out the magic inside of me. I never would have learned that I represent the element of magic without these 5, and I certainly wouldn't be here to stop you now.
Alrighty, the combatants are ready. It's time for a sprite fight. Okay, that just happened. A plastic horse beat Godzilla. Also, I just want to remind you that we are using legendary Godzilla, not Toho Godzilla. Godzilla certainly held his own against Twilight. He was much more battle-ready, and he was way physically stronger. Twilight usually needs help defeating some of her tough enemies, while Godzilla takes them on his own. Okay, when I said he held his own, I meant for a bit. Twilight's versatile spellcasting wasn't really something he was equipped to overcome or deal with. From what I've seen, Twilight has the ability to attack and defend at the same time, something Godzilla has shown to severely lack. It's pretty obvious who's faster. The fastest attacks Godzilla has ever shown is about 89 miles per hour, while Twilight can fire at 300. That's 3 times faster than Godzilla's attacks, and 1.5 times faster than his running speed. But the biggest factor was who was more powerful. Surprisingly, not only did Twilight match Godzilla, but surpassed him. We know Godzilla could output about 12.5 petatons of TNT. This is because burning Godzilla killed King Ghidorah, who made a storm. Twilight is definitely on par with at least Luna. Remember, Luna could move the moon. The energy required to do that is around 23 exotons of TNT. Much more than Godzilla's 12.5 petatons. You can even go further and scale Twilight to Celestia, who can move the sun. The kinetic energy required to do that is way more than what Godzilla could output. Even if you wanted to be super generous to Godzilla with multipliers and downscalers to Twilight, the gap here is just too big. And this version of Godzilla has no evidence of magical resistances, so there's nothing stopping Twilight from just turning him into a bunch of oranges or controlling his limbs like a puppeteer. So, while legendary Godzilla's strength and battle experience certainly kept Twilight on her toes, Twilight's versatility, speed, and overwhelming magical prowess was more than enough to take out this giant lizard. Looks like Twilight was the real girl in this fight. Orange, you're glad to see it? Wow, that was bad even for me. Well, the winner is Twilight Sparkle.
Twilight-licious.